Hey guys, you're about to watch part 2 of the interview I did with Tim Larkin. We talk about violence and how the Mafia uses violence. Tim is an expert on violence and self-defense, and I really enjoyed talking to him. I hope you enjoy the video.
You came up, you built what you built, you were running, I mean, it must have been amazing to be in New York during that time, and with what you guys were running. I mean, anywhere you went in the city, I'm sure it was there. You go from having that kind of power, that kind of influence, and then you're in jail. And like you said, it didn't break you though. You know, I mean, but that's, a lot of people couldn't take a fall like that and lose that influence and that, you know, that ability to go around the city and be who you are. And then you go into, you know, they threw you some serious time and put you in some serious situations. And how mentally, what was the adjustment like? Like, what did you tell yourself? Did you have to tell yourself anything? I mean, you seem like you were pretty consistent throughout your life, but that's a big hit for anybody.
Yeah, it is a big hit. Listen, I started my bit, I did 6.5 years in the hole. Yeah. Just that alone, people can't fathom what it is to be locked down in a hole for 6.5 years. But that's how I started that bit. And yeah, you don't have the same power, but you can.
Could you just explain for people, because I know the people that will be watching for me, you're in the hole. Will you explain what that means to them just briefly so they understand the severity of what you're talking about?
I'm in the hole. I live in the hole. In other words, it's a cell by myself. When I was in the ADX Supermax, I'm in a cell by myself. 24 hours a day. There's a shower, there's a toilet, there's a bed. It's a piece of concrete, little plastic mattress. Nobody is ever in that cell with me. And that's how you have to do your time. And you can get 1 hour a day, most of the times, not all the time, to go in a yard with a group of guys. Right. Not a big group in the ADX Supermax. In a penitentiary, there's more guys in there. But it's complete solitary confinement, and there's not even, you're not even with another inmate. Right. So it's the toughest thing. I tell people now, go in your bedroom, take whatever you want in there with you, close the door, and stay in there 6 weeks. See if after a while you're going stuck crazy. Yeah. You'll be banging on the door after a week or two, let me out of here. But you can't come out. They'll slip some food under the door for you. We got it through a slot. But they'll give you a little food. You'll take a shower in the room. You'll play solitaire. You'll do some sit-ups, some push-ups. You'll get a 12-inch black and white TV with no sound. You need earplugs. You need a wire with earplugs to hear it. If you take the earplugs out, you can't hear it. So there's no noise in the place. The prison is underground. So it's almost airtight and soundproof. If somebody's 3 rooms away from you, they can't hear you. You'll put your clothes in a bag and give it to them. They'll go wash it. Hours later or the next day, they'll throw that bag back in. Not pressed, iron, folded, all wrinkled. They throw the whole bag in the machine with everybody else's bags. Guys lose it in there. I've seen so many guys lose it. They just, after they hang up, or they try to kill themselves. Or you'll hear them screaming or moaning, or it's the most unbelievable thing in the world. I had one visit in the ADX Supermax. My wife came and visited me, my ex-wife. And she's on, there's a big, thick glass. Right. She's on one side, I'm on this side. There's a camera over me looking at her, one looking over at me. She can go through that door, and there's a room with machines. She can buy food, potato chips, soda. They bring me a tray. They open up the slot, they give me the tray. Yo, there's no utensils in there. Eat with your hands. So I'm in there It's soundproof. The only way she can hear me, I have a phone, she has a phone.
Right.
So I'm on a phone, I'm looking at her, and I'm eating with my hands like an animal. I think that's what they make you. They make you become. I hit a buzzer for a guard to come. Female guard came. I said, I have to go to the bathroom. I was in there a few hours. She said, okay. I cuffed up. I put my hands behind me, cuffed up. She took me out, took me down the hall, regular chain link fence wrapped around a toilet bowl. I went in. I put my arms back. She took the cuffs off. She said, go ahead. She's standing as close as you are. I said, could you turn around or could you walk down the hall? I had to take a crap.
Right.
I never did that in front of a woman in my life.
Right.
She says, I have to stand here. I'm a guard, and I have to watch. You have to watch me go to the bathroom?
Jesus.
Yes. I had to go. It's the most humiliating thing I've ever done in my life. I was taking a crap and almost crying on the bowl, looking at her. I had tears on my fucking eyes, welling up. I never felt like that in my life. When I got back to the cell, I told my wife, don't let nobody come here no more. Don't let nobody come here. We just had a $2,000 phone call. Don't let nobody come. I never had a visit there. I refused visits. And there's another time a female guard came to me. She was a nurse. And she was reading some paper to me. And there's a row of bars, there's a safe area, and then there's the door. So she's in that little safe area. And she was talking to me for a while. I was so hungry for conversation. When she went to give me the paper back through the bars, I don't know what made me do it. I grabbed her finger. I only caught her pinky.
Right.
And I begged her not to leave. She looked at me. Sammy, I know what you're going through. Let go of my finger. They're going to see this. There's cameras all over. They'll come in here. They'll kill you. Let go. She covered my finger with her body so they couldn't see it. And I let go. I apologized. She said, no, don't apologize. You've been in here a long time. Do some push-ups. Do some meditation. Do some deep breaths. You're a strong man. Don't let them break you. I'll never forget this woman. She left. That's solitary confinement to the maximum level that you could imagine.
Why 6.5 years? Why? Like I don't understand were they deliberately trying to break something out of you, or there's something they wanted from you?
In my opinion, yeah, they wanted to break me.
Okay.
They wanted to break me. Because there's no reason, when the ADX Supermax, they get guys who kill people within the prison system.
Right.
They lose control of these guys. Yeah. After a while, they don't know what to do. It happened once, it's happened again. Yeah. They don't know what to do with them no more. Right. So they put them in the ADX Supermax. They got something for you in the prison system for everybody. Right. And they put you there, and you're done with killing, you're done with everything. They had it up to here with you, and then you're in there. Or whatever reason it may be. I went in there was no reason. When I went there, they came and they said, what did you do in the system? I said, I didn't do anything. I just got locked up. What do you mean? I was in regular, like the Arizona state prison when I first got busted, and I wasn't in the hole there, but then I was in, the feds busted me, so I was constantly being pinched, and I was in different places, and they would just keep me in the hole most of the time. And then I went into the ADX Supermax. Finally, they got rid of me, and they put me in the Supermax. And there was no reason. I didn't commit any violence. I didn't do anything. Right. So they actually beefed the warden. They said, we need the beds in here. Because they needed, in the serious part of the ADX, there's, I think, 400 beds. Mm-hmm. So they want a bed for these real guys who lost it,
Right.
so to speak, and or really seriously, you can't just, they'll kill every 3 seconds. So they said, you know, you didn't do anything, you don't belong in here. And I said, well, I didn't come here by cab, they brought me here, bro. So what do you want me to do? And they tried to get me out, they couldn't get me out. For some reason, the government, I did a 5-year bit, and when I got out, I recommitted a crime, and I think it was payback. They wanted to just crush me now.
That one. That was the ecstasy.
Yeah.
The hit that they got you on.
Right, it was the ecstasy case. It wasn't even the case itself. It was dealing ecstasy, lending money.
Yeah.
There was no violence in the case.
Right.
So how did I wind up in this place?
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's the interesting part is that you they probably didn't like your first deal that you got. You know, like I heard people say that, like, you know, you didn't think 5.5 years was enough for you the first time around.
Yeah,
that.
it was 5 years. Yeah, but no, I think the government was real happy about it.
Yeah.
You know, I give an example how happy they were. I was shocked that I got 5 years, but I got 5 years. The judge wasn't stupid.
Right.
When I went back, I still had 7 months to go. I had almost the whole time in.
Right.
So I went back, and guys were just packed around the staircase when I came in.
Yeah.
Holy shit. The warden, when I got back, called me in his office. He said, Sammy, a lot of people are mad in the prison that you got, 5 years. You're involved in 19 murders. He says, are you going to be okay? I said, yeah, I'm going to be okay. I don't give a fuck if they're happy or mad. I don't care. What's the difference? What do I care?
Right.
So I knew that when I walked in, they all came to the staircase, and I knew some of them were probably bitching and moaning that I got a short sentence.
Right.
And they're in there longer than me or whatever. So my friends came right up, hey, Sammy, great, holy shit, you got a 5-year sentence, you'll be out. Yeah, 7 more months. I said, you know, the crazy part about it? What? If I would have killed another 10 or 15 drug dealers, I would have did no time at all. So all them guys who were drug dealers and bitching and moaning, oh my God, they couldn't even imagine what I said. So I went back in, I finished my bit,
Right.
and when I got out, the FBI got in touch with me. They said, hey, Sammy, you want to hear something crazy? What? They said, after you got sentenced to the 5 years, not even 3 weeks later to a month later, we got 1,500 calls across the country from state and federal prisons. Give me a Sammy deal and I'll cooperate. So what that did was change the whole tide of things like that. And God knows how many people cooperated after that. You know, it brought to light that if you cooperate, you can do a lot less time.
Right.
And this thing went crazy as far as people. So the government, I think, was pretty happy. When I recommitted a crime, the ecstasy thing, they embarrassed them.
Right.
So to speak. And to them, an embarrassment is a big thing.
Yeah.
You know,
they're going to throw everything they can at
so they're going to kill me now.
Yeah.
This time around, they're going to smash the shit out of me. So I get busted in Arizona by the state, exaggerated the whole case, and then I got busted in February of 2000. In January of 2001, I get indicted again by the federal government, a mirror case.
Right.
In 2002, I get indicted again for a cold case with the Iceman. And so I'm in 3 different cases at the same time. But I get 20 years with the feds. I take a plea. I get 20 years with the feds, 19 with the state. I beat the other case, the cold case. And I went in and started it at 55 and went through this whole cycle. But I just said, I'm going to live like a man, and I'm going to die like a man. Whatever it is, it is.
Yeah.
And that's the way I always conducted myself. I conducted myself like that in prison. When I got out in 2017, I started doing some stuff, and then I went into this social media stuff and doing interviews like this and talking, and I started doing a podcast, and I'm working on a scripted show to do my life story. And I deal like that. Like when I met you, I'm not trying to be a tough guy, and I respect you. I respect where you're coming from. I heard a lot of good things about you, so I just come in the way I am. If I meet a nut, I know how to deal with it. If I don't meet a nut like you, and it's pleasurable to me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. How was it when you ran guys and you had to enforce discipline amongst your ranks and stuff? If you had a guy go off the radar, maybe he did a bad deal with somebody, made your organization look bad or something like that. How swiftly were you guys on top of stuff like that?
Well, we're on it. You know, I'll give you an example of that. Some guy, I just took him with my crew. I read him, you know, the riot act, how we conduct ourselves and what goes on. I don't give a shit about everybody else, what we do.
Right.
And he went to one of the guys in my crew and he says, "Oh my God, Sammy ripped me a new ass. I think I'm in big trouble." The guy told me, he was yelling at you? Yeah. What'd you do? I did a little drug deal. I know he told me no drugs, no this, no that, but I did it, and he was really fuming. Yeah, you'll be all right. What do you mean I'll be all right? I'm telling you, he was fuming. Listen, Sammy likes you. That's why he was fuming. He wants you to do the right thing, and he likes you, and he's yelling at you. It's forcing you to do the right thing. You did the wrong thing. If Sammy's smiling and patting you on the back, it's nothing. You're gonna go.
Yeah.
He's not somebody he don't play.
Right.
So he likes you. Don't worry about it. But don't keep doing the wrong thing, bro. Because so that fear of I'm gonna do what I have to do, whether I like you, whether I love you, and I'm not gonna hurt you just because I don't like you. I'm going to try to stay within Cosa Nostra, our rules and what's right and what's wrong, and be fair. Because if you're too violent, then people are afraid of you.
Right.
And they don't want to be even near you, one. Or they fear you so much, as soon as they do something wrong, and they'll kill you. So you have to be something to everyone. But you have to have rules. You have to enforce your rules. And people will understand it. You're not vicious. You're not bloodthirsty. He's going to go by the rules. Right. You want to be in this crew? You want to be a drug dealer? I don't look down on drug dealers. Go do what the fuck you want. Go do it with somebody else. There's a lot of guys who do that. Go. You know, and we have certain rules and regulations. You know, I would tell a guy one time, I says, "You think I'm a punk?" "No, Sammy, come on. Why would I never said, no, I know you didn't say nothing." I says, "I'm asking you that question because do you see when I walk with John Gotti, it's raining, I'm holding the umbrella over him. When he goes to open the door, I open the door. When he comes out, I move, I'm a step behind him. You know what that is? That's not fear. That's called respect."
Yeah.
You have to learn respect. So you know I'm not afraid of him. I just respect him and his title, who he is. That's what you've got to. When you see me doing that, if I could be respectful, then you guys could be respectful. Not only to me, I'm talking to everybody. That's what we're about. That's what Cosa Nostra truly is. Not when somebody looks and says, "Oh, look at Sammy, he's afraid of him." Fuck him. What he says, it don't matter. It's what we are and how we think.
Right.
So my crew understood that. We had rules. I understood it. I'm not the toughest guy in the world, so I always knew to check myself. And I was never evil. Like I never talked behind people's backs. I never did sneaky shit. I never beat nobody. Those are people walking around with a guilty conscience.
Yeah.
You know, we had a deal. We were supposed to cut this up, but I kept something and I didn't cut it up. I'm walking around with fear now. I wonder if he ever finds out. What is he going to do? He wants to talk to me. I wonder if he found out. I wonder if he knows. I never had those fears. Yeah. So I taught my people that's what it is.
What were you guys like when you guys made your move and you took over? how was that transition when you took over as far as situational awareness? Were you guys always looking over your shoulders at that point? Were you, because that was a big move that you guys did when Castellano
Oh,
went out.
absolutely.
It was huge. I mean,
Yeah.
I was a young kid when that happened. But as an organization, you guys then had to start running things. You know, now it was your turn to run things and stuff. And that transition is as far as how much was, you know, taking over the organization, making sure everything runs smoothly, and the other thing is also, you know, looking over your shoulder and making sure that, you know, people aren't getting you yet.
Yeah, I'm a hit guy. I'm a good part of my life.
Right.
I'm a professional hitman. And I understand what's done and what's not done. And I'm always aware of certain things. Where I sit, how I sit. I mean, it's just a way of life for me.
Right.
Even now. I don't pay as much attention, but then I did.
Yeah.
But when we took over, it was about fear. You're not going to take over, you know, such a violent move. It rocked the whole Mafia.
Right.
And we had to keep that violent threat out there. You can't relax no more. Right. When you do something that violent, that big. So there was a lot of us now. Yeah. And we were always on guard. And if anybody did the wrong thing, we were going to kill them. Yeah. You keep it together by showing bodies. Fear. Fear is what keeps it together now. Right. Fear is going to make them not fuck with you, not think, don't be stupid. That fear factor. And then you can ease up and have relationship with people and show that you're human, your human side. Right. It starts with fear, and then it turns into respect. To turn it from fear to respect to love is a serious, serious thing that is extremely hard to do. It's very hard. You could make somebody fear you. You could make somebody like you. You could even make somebody love you. To get the whole bunch together, it's extremely hard. Machiavelli wrote a book. You hear the word Machiavelli. Yeah. He wrote a book. Well, he wrote a bunch of books. But he was an advisor to kings and tells the king how to take over and become the king, how to run the kingdom, how to make the people love you or like you or respect you. So you need those things. Fear. They can never forget that you're dangerous. Yeah. You do kind things for somebody, all of a sudden they like you. They ain't a bad guy. To love you, that's another whole degree. You're not even nowhere near my level. I don't mean you now. I mean out in the street. If right. You were out in the street, you're not even nowhere near my level. I find out your wife or your kid is in the hospital, and he's by his kid's side or his wife's side. Let's get in the car. Why? I'm going to go there. And I go to the hospital. I turn around. You turn around and you say, hey, Sammy, what are you doing here? Well, I wanted to see, how are you? You need anything? How's the kid? How's this? Here's that. If that's coming from your heart, he'll know it. Right. Those things turn to love. The respect. Wow, Sammy the Bull came here to see me with the kid. He brought a little basket for my kid or something. What you want as a person. And when you walk around with an air, we'll get back to John Gotti, we got a beating with the black guy, people aren't gonna like you. But if you have respect and you got love in your heart, it comes back. It really does come back. Then I don't even have to worry about you. As big as you are, as tough as you are, I don't have to worry about you no more. Yeah. You have a different feeling towards me. I get into an argument, you're not one of my top guns. Boom, you're getting up. Hey, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's the love. Does that. Not because you're a tough guy, not because you're dangerous. The love and the respect you started to build for me. So it's a combination of different things. It's not something I knew, but growing up in life, having a great mother and father, legitimate people, having a great mentor, Tato, I learned these things. You get that. There's no colleges that teach you wisdom. You get that in time, through age.
Yeah, well, I thought it was interesting, the struggles you had early on in school with the dyslexia and the fact that there was no real help back then for kids that had dyslexia, and that I've met so many people throughout life, in the military and everything, dyslexic kids, they go to the top. It's just amazing. I mean, there's something about having to overcome that it just breeds a different type of individual at times and stuff.
Right.
And a command. I've just met so many dynamic individuals that have that background with it, but it also scars them too. It's one of the things they remember growing up, and they remember being told they're stupid.
Oh, I was called stupid so many times. I didn't know what it was coming and going, and embarrassed and stuff, and humiliated.
Yeah.
Class laughing at me, I like the little girls, and I love the little girls, and they're laughing. The guys are making jokes. Making joke? 3 o'clock when I get out of this fucking class, I'll make sure that you remember this joke.
Right.
So, and that back then they had no idea what it was.
Right.
And it really wrecked I never passed the 8th grade.
Yeah.
I got an 8th grade education, but it's like somebody who's going deaf. It seems like they see better.
Yeah.
Or they'll lose their eyesight. They hear better. So I think dyslexia brought in different things. I could talk to somebody and pick up all kinds of shit.
Right.
I could see something on television and I'm right there. I could hear something, I'm right there. Give me that book to read, I'm dead.
Right.
I told a psychologist one time, they were talking to me about it. I got a paper, it was just a paragraph. And I said, here, read that. And it was a woman. She said, I read it. What about it? And I got a blank piece of paper, and I got a pencil, and I scribbled. And I pushed it over, and I said, read that. She said, scribble. Read what? I said, that, what you just read, that looks like this piece of paper.
To you.
To me.
Yeah.
So you can't read my piece of paper. I can't read that. It looks the same to me.
No, and what's interesting though, you're able to run pretty sophisticated organizations and do
business
that without any of that, with an 8th grade education, that you came through. That's what I think is just so interesting is I tell people, especially when it comes to their own self-protection, I go, hey, listen, some of the best information is going to come from, some of the hardest parts of society,
Right.
You're going to learn these lessons, but they speak truth. And I mean,
Right.
a lot of what you said today just reinforces what I've always said. Violence alone isn't going to do it.
No.
Violence, it's going to get you that initial that you need, that fear that you need.
Right.
But then you've got to, in order to be successful, you've got to understand human nature. And I try to tell people all the time, they come when they want for self-protection. They think it's all about the punching and the kicking. And I go, it's about 10%. Because if it gets down to that, yeah, I'm going to show you all that. But really, what you got to learn is how do you interact with other humans, man? How can you minimize the chance of violence ever coming in your life?
Right.
How can you see things coming ahead of time, way ahead of time? The only way you're going to do that is you have to understand, you have to like humans. You have to actually learn about them and how they go. And it's funny, that was a theme when I was listening to a lot of your interviews, that was the one thing that interested me, because you would tell a story, and each one of those stories, from my perspective, was, he understands human nature. He understands where he's going in. Yes, he's doing it for criminal purposes over here. He's doing it for that, but it's sophisticated. Because that's like Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu said the ultimate victory is to basically, I paraphrase him, is to win the war without ever firing a shot. And I think that's a lot of what Cosa Nostra tried to do once they went into an area. They wanted to make it so that it was running well, everything was going on, and it wasn't too much.
Right. We how I used to explain it? All the money, it's a pie. And Everybody eats out of this pie. Legitimate people, men, women, different races, everybody eats out of this pie. We want to get a little slice of that pie. And we could get that little slice and spread it around with each other, and we good.
Right.
Seems like politicians and other people, they want to take the whole fucking pie, and nobody can eat. The Mafia doesn't do that. And we look out, I'll give you an example. There was a garbage strike. I was up by Paul Castellano's house, the boss. I was already an acting captain. And he tells Tommy Bellotti, go get Jimmy Brown. He was the head of the Garbage Association. So they go get him. We're sitting at the table and talking, and Jimmy Brown comes in. And he said, Jimmy, look, I got the television on. Look at this news. He said, yeah, we got this. There's a strike, and we're going to win the strike and stuff. And Paul Castellano, I'll never forget this. He said, look, there's garbage in front of schools, old age homes, hospitals. Get them to pick that fucking garbage up. You'll win the strike. What are we, fucking animals for money? Go pick that shit up.
That's great.
And Jimmy left. And they did. They backed off of the hospitals, not picking it up. They made them pick it up in hospitals, old age homes, stuff like that.
Right.
And to me, it was a beautiful lesson.
Yeah.
Here's a boss. He loves money, extremely wealthy, but he wanted to win the strike and win their points and everything, but he didn't want to do that to the people. He cared about the people who have no power to stop the strike and have to live with all this garbage all over the fucking place. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the second part of the interview. Tim has put together a free masterclass for you guys. I can't express how important it is to be prepared for violence in this world. It could happen at any time, any place, anywhere. This isn't a sales pitch. This is about real life. Click the link below and check it out. You're going to be glad you did. Adios.